All right, we're live again. We're back. We're live. Judd'z Budz, episode 68. There it is. As always, your host, Spokesy, joined by my good buddy, Mr. at State of Hoppy. Hoppy, how we doing?
We're doing all right. We've had a day. We'll say that. But I got to ask you first, because last I talked to you yesterday, you had a fucking 10 p.m. softball game. No beers allowed. How are we doing?
Yep, co-ed softball league on Wednesdays. Most of the games are at 10 p.m. in Southie. Shocking. I went yard, keep the change, hit it into the ocean. Yeah, you're technically not supposed to bring beers because I guess there's like cops and whatever. Who cares? So we do the drinking before, after, and I mean, you can sneak stuff in there, but yeah, no, it was good. Came out on top. So, but most importantly, I fucking went yard. So that was sick. And best part is though, if you hit a home run, you don't have to round the bases. You just have to go get the ball. So someone else had already got it by the time I had turned around. So I didn't have to do any running, which that's a big deal for me. So if I don't have to move at a fast and walking pace, I will not do that. So yeah, no, thanks for asking. But yeah, third home run of the year. Not a big deal. 400 feet, obviously. Big regulation size field. Yeah, no, it's sick. But yeah, that's about it, dude. We went off 1 innings. We had like 17 runs. Almost mercied them. Should have. No mercy. No mercy, though.
Are you guys playing in like the C League, or who are you playing against?
That'd be really funny if there was co-ed, like different divisions. Like, fucking. No, it's just this like Boston. They have like every type of sport. This league. There's like softball, there's kickball, there's soccer, basketball. It's crazy. So I'll give other friends
be my game for sure.
Yeah, but you gotta run though. There's a lot of running involved. You actually have to run the base. Shit. No, there's not.
Please explain the difference.
I told you barely have to run the bases. And you're just sitting still pretty much, because if anyone gets a hit, goes to the outfield. I'm not in the outfield, so I just got to hang out. So pretty great for me. Kickball, you have to run no matter what, because there's no home runs unless it's inside the park home run, because there's no fence.
All right.
So there you go. That's my explanation.
So basically, because you can't go yard, which means like one time a game, you get to avoid running.
I don't know, dude. There's just more running. There's more running, I'm convinced. So that's final answer.
All right, we'll go with that.
That's the bottom line. Fuck running. Running sucks.
I can get on board with that. I'm not a fan of that anymore either.
Dude, is it? I mean, more importantly, is it as fucking hot in Minnesota as it is in Boston today? Because I went outside once today and I turned around immediately. I was going to go walk to the store and I was like, nope. It was like 92.
I mean, I did the same, but that's because I just hate any warm temperature. Right now, it's 76. I think the highest it got was probably mid-80s.
It's still too hot. I need it cool. Like not even hot at all, like you said.
No, dude, 50 to 60 is my sweet spot.
Oh yeah, that's the best. That's the good stuff. I'm gonna put this fucking AC in because I'm gonna die if I don't. It's literally just on the floor behind me.
There you go. Put it in. Well, the rundown for what we're gonna cover here, which I'm sure we won't deviate from this path whatsoever.
Never do.
Got to talk about a new coach for our Iowa Wild. Gonna get into the Memorial Cup. Why are you not setting up your AC right now? I'm buying you time.
It's gonna get into
fucking hour. some of the news around the league with different GM and coach musical chair operations, and a little bit of preview and predictions for the Stanley Cup Finals. So let's get into it right away here. Brett McLean, head coach of the Iowa Wild. And first, were you surprised at all by the firing of Tim Army, or was that very expected?
I mean, I don't know, because like realistically, they've made the playoffs twice, ever. And I mean, like they've had the talent to go there too. And I don't know, it's just like I wasn't like really that surprised because it did feel like they definitely like underachieved, especially the last few years. I mean, it's weird because a lot of guys who do go from Iowa back and make it to Minnesota, he does a good job of like assisting with like developing guys like Mason Shaw. You know what I mean? Like those types of guys, but the high end guys, like, I don't know, like Boldy was there for not even half a year. So like that does not even count really. So, I mean, I wasn't shocked. It was more just like all right, like interesting. Let's see like what type of coach they bring in. And, maybe that'll make a difference. We'll see if like the roster looks any different, if they try to go younger, because you do have like a minimum number of like vets you have to have on the team in the AHL, which is why there's like fewer and fewer, or not fewer and fewer, but just not as many of the younger, like 21-year-old prospects as there probably should be, because they're some of the best prospects in the system, obviously. But I was more interested just to see like what they would bring in. And obviously they bring in Brett McLean, who like literally might be the same exact thing because he's already been there. And then he went to Minnesota to be an assistant coach. And now he's back as a head coach in Iowa. So it'll be interesting. I mean, he's going to be familiar with like most of the team already anyways. So I don't think it's going to be a huge adjustment. I'll be just curious to see like what stylistic changes there are. Maybe not putting a thought of blue chip prospect on a fourth line. Maybe that'll be different. That would be cool. And then claim you don't have a checking line. But maybe that'll be different, but it doesn't really feel like it's anything crazy. I kind of figured they would probably go with someone who's already in the organization, because that just felt like the most likely thing instead of like bringing someone completely new in.
Sure.
So yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised, but it was just kind of interesting to see that they were actually kind of changing directions there. Because I mean, it seems like everywhere else since like Tim Army's been like the survivor of all these different changes that have happened over the last however many years. It's like somehow the AHL coaches hasn't been touched, even though they just don't make the playoffs or like even sniff the playoffs some years.
So tell me though, because obviously it matters, but does winning and going to the playoffs really matter? Or do you just care about how the players are getting developed?
Yeah, I mean, it's a development league for sure, but I mean, you're never going to just be like, oh, well, as long as, our younger players are improving individually, that's what the whole point is. Obviously, they want to win every game. And they want to have those young players on winning teams. Sure. So I don't know. It's just curious to see if you can maybe get more out of like the top guys, like, and kind of lean less on vets versus kind of putting more on the young guys' shoulders. I mean, it like took a while for, a guy like Adam Beckman to get any kind of trust in that team, like any significant responsibilities, even though he's probably one of the better players on the team. And I would assume is pretty close, if not NHL ready next year. So that's kind of what I'll be curious to see. Because again, like you're looking at guys like, and hey, I love them to death, but like Turner Ottenbright getting like 24 minutes a game. It's like, okay, well, you've got some young dogs out there, like can probably do most of what he's bringing. And again, I love Ottenbright, but like just leaning less on the vets maybe and kind of putting more on the young guy's shoulders. But at the same time, it's hard to kind of, with some of them, how young they are. Obviously you don't want to put too much, but like, I'm just curious to see if there's a little bit more, trust in some of those young guys and maybe not taking 700, like Matt, Mr. Minnesota Wild Talk just said, maybe not taking 1,000 penalty minutes every fucking year. They didn't lead their conference though this year, unlike the last year. Dude, remember last year I told you the fucking Iowa Wild had like 350 more penalty minutes than any other team in their division, and like sucked on the PK. They were just letting in 8 goals a game. That was fun.
Weird. That almost sounds eerily similar to what happened.
Interesting. Weird.
It's almost like it's a cultural thing. So, I mean, you talk, though, about Beckman almost being ready. Like, maybe he is. What are we expecting this year from Rossi? Is he going to spend more time in Iowa, or is he making the team out of camp and never going back?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough because, again, like, it's this situation that they're in with, I mean, they just re-signed Gaudreau to a 5-year deal, and I don't think they're interested at all in putting him at the wing. Eriksson, you're obviously not supplanting him. So, like, where is that spot in the lineup just going to be any different than it was last year?
I mean,
I don't know. So does that mean like you're going to try to make him
either be sell Rossi because he's already a bust, or put him on the first line and move Hartman to wing? And there's really nothing in between.
Yeah, that's like the weird conundrum that they're in. I mean, I guess that's what every like top prospects conundrum is, like, because I mean, I don't know. We're a long way away from like seeing what like even having an idea of what roster moves are going to happen. Because like for all we know, there could be some significant moves that we wouldn't have seen coming. Like who knows? Maybe they do end up looking at shopping guys like Marcus Foligno and that type. So just kind of curious to see like where the line or where the spots of that lineup actually open up. Because again, like I'm not really super thrilled about the idea of like, oh, let's try him at fourth line again. Let's see if this, now that he did a year of trying it for 15 games, and then we sent him back down to Iowa where he was a first line center. Let's see if now he's ready to just play 9.5 minutes a game, 70% in the D zone. So if it's the same thing, then I don't even care if he's like ready or not. I would just rather him go back down there. Like, fuck that.
Yeah, that's fair. And I mean, we saw, I got to imagine Bill Guerin like bullied the NHLPA into changing the rule, because we just got a change where apparently we can have one specialist coach on the ice with players in the off season. That's just going to be Rossi all summer.
No, they're actually going to rehire. They're going to rehire Tim Army, and the only personnel that will be allowed to have any kind of formal training will be Adam Beckman shooting pucks in Tim Army's driveway.
Dude, I love how people just every year you'll see people throw out, why doesn't someone hire Adam Oates? Well, because he's getting the fucking bag, like 10x what you could possibly pay him, because he makes money directly from the players for private lessons. Like, what do you want?
It's going to be such a sick gig. Like,
it's a pretty good deal.
And Teddy Purcell is just like his henchman. Like he works for Oates too. So he like works with the guys, which like is just a very funny combination of human beings.
Teddy, go show him what not to do.
Teddy P, go ahead. Show him. Do the shit you do. Yeah.
If anyone does that, my billing goes up 3x.
See that? Yeah. It is fascinating listening to him talk about though, like this specific thing. I mean,
it's nuts.
That's just another level. I mean, shocking. These people have just another part of their brain dedicated for hockey. But like just like the little things he break down, and like who was it? He was when he was coaching with one of the teams, he like demanded they use like a shorter stick, and like he was like, no, you're using a fucking shorter stick. He's like, no, you're changing your tape. Like fuck that. It's crazy. But yeah, I don't know why no one's ever thought of that.
Don't know why. What are we looking for this year from O'Rourke and Hunt?
Yeah, I mean, I thought they both actually, by the end of the year, they were both playing really well. I thought Damon Hunt probably had more moments where he was like making like noticeable plays in the offensive zone, especially. But O'Rourke, again, shocking. As the year went on, he was just like very effective, not really standing out, but he defends super well. He started actually jumping up on the rush a lot more too, and getting involved in that offense. Again, neither one of them had like crazy point totals, but neither one of them really have any kind of prominent role in that power play anyways. But I mean, I would probably just say just adding to their minutes. Like, again, O'Rourke was playing a lot with like Turner Ottenbright. One really interesting pair they had going for a little bit was like Damon Hunt and Simon Johansson, which was just like really fun to watch, mostly for the chaos. But again, like even I said it throughout the year, like Damon Hunt like adjusted to the AHL game way quicker and like more effective than I thought he would. Just because again, like when he was in the WHL, it was fucking just absolute chaos in the funnest way possible. But he was legitimately just a rover for that Moose Jaw team. But they like a lot of good defensive habits, like and kind of just playing that controlled game. So I mean, really, it's kind of just building on what they did this year, but maybe just even looking a little bit more comfortable, taking on more responsibilities, hopefully getting more looks offensively. But that's probably more so for like a guy like Damon Hunt. But I would say by the end of the year, both made big jumps in their development too, just because again, like Hunt went from being this all chaotic, like very fun cocaine hockey on the back end to like really well sound defensively. So really just building on again, just hopefully getting even more responsibility than they did last year and kind of, leading from the back end.
Dude, if Simon Johansson makes the big squad at any point in the next like year or two, what % of people are going to freak out because they think it's the guy that we drafted in the first round?
The other Johansson, Philip?
Yeah.
Same guy.
It's got to be at least 30 or 40%. It's got to be.
Probably.
Oh, more to your point, here's Marco Rossi had a higher D-zone start percentage than Frederick Gaudreau last season, and people wonder why he wasn't scoring, which, I mean, people that don't know much about Freddie Evison, he's not really known for his defense, so you definitely wouldn't want to put him out there for those defensive zone opportunities.
I really do feel bad. It always comes down to Freddie Gaudreau because, like, he's a good hockey player. It's fucking poor. No matter what. No, I know. No, I totally get it. Like, we're the ones talking about it, but I just like feel so bad because every time he just ends up taking these fucking ricochet shots.
See, for me, it's the opposite. It's actually not a shot at him. It's more a shot at, like, why do you think that Marco Rossi is the guy you want to play defensively when Freddie Gaudreau is really good at that? You know what I mean? Like, it's less why is Gaudreau out there for offense instead of Rossi. It's why is Rossi out there for defense instead of Gaudreau?
Yeah, and I mean, again, Rossi's, like, his potential is, like, elite offense and very elite defense. This is a kid that I believe was either the runner-up or top three, maybe even one of the, like, the CHL or the OHL's version of the Selke. Like, he is a very good defensive hockey player. Again, that's why he's all on their PK1 too. So, I mean, again, that's the interesting part though. And yeah, so he's starting more often in the D zone than a guy like Freddie Gaudreau. At the same time, like, well, I guess if you're just using percentages, then that makes sense. But yeah, no, I mean, it's interesting. So yeah, shocking though. He's not at a point per game. Can't believe it. Bust, trade him for a 7th.
So, I mean, again, sticking with the idea of getting more than half his D-zone start or half his starts in the D-zone, is this something that is just a total miss on deployment of Rossi, or is this Dean Evison being the robot that he is that's not willing to make adjustments and actually pivot throughout a game? He's just like, oh, nope, this is the line that's up next. Go.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess, is it more of a Rossi thing versus guys that like that line as a whole? Maybe that's the more of the approach, right? Where they obviously aren't going to have them in the moment where they need a big goal. It's probably not that line they're going to throw over to the like Mason Shaw, Marco Rossi, Duhaime, whatever combination. Like, that's probably not their.
Oh no, you got to play him with Foligno. Very matching skill sets there.
Yeah, same thing, same guy.
Oh man, I don't know. Here we go.
Gun-toting granny, baby.
Gun-toting granny. Do we think that there's anything to be gained if he plays another year in the AHL? Like, is there more for him to grow at that level, or are we at the point where he's got to do something in the NHL because there's nothing more to do down there?
No, I mean, I still think there's plenty for him to kind of continue to improve on. Again, like, ideally, he's down there until he is fully ready to be that, like, 2 or 1C. Maybe not 1C, obviously, but like a significant center in that top 6 role, or just like kind of ready for that, like 18 minutes a game, playing against like the other team's best players, not just being on a fourth line. Like, again, like ideally he works out of the Kings down there. So I don't think there's any problem. Again, if the option is either what he did, not even like the results, but like the option of like being deployed like he was in the however many games he played in the NHL this year, I'd be like, yep, let him go be 1C in Iowa.
Do you know
play
what,
first
man?
PK, first PP unit.
For me, it almost feels like his only path is once he's ready to be the 1C, because we've already established Freddie Evison will be the 3C. I don't think there's a world where we don't spend at least the first 2 months with Boldy and JoJo on either side of Eriksson Ek because of how well that line went. Because we know historically they're going to force that just like they did the Grief line until it just does not work at all. So the only spot for Rossi is the first line. Because if you play him on the fourth line, you're a fucking idiot.
Yeah, again, if that's the plan at a camp, then you're just asking for more of the same. Like, I don't really know what he's even supposed to do. Like, if that's his role, like, I don't know how anyone even expects him to like just pop. I mean, again, like, because in that role he was fine. Like, he was playing good. Like, he played well. He played as a good defensive forward, but like, I just don't think it did anything for him. So like, yeah, no, I agree. If he doesn't play a single fucking game in the NHL next year, I don't give a shit. If you want to keep in the AHL, let him just go play 18 to 22 minutes a night against the other team's best players. Again, first PP, first PK, like that's fine with me, because realistically, the more professional hockey he gets to play before having to like really be in the spotlight in the NHL and like be the guy for them, like that's fine. I would rather have that. Like, we're also, it's what's he, 19, 20 now? Like, who gives a shit? Like, it's
too
not
late. He's already a bust.
Yeah, I love. I thought people like need just like have that need to be like, I knew it. He's 5'9". He stinks. He's terrible. Jack Quinn had a good
Connor
2
Bedard
months.
gonna be a stud.
Jack Quinn had a good 2 months in the NHL for the Sabres.
Dude, Perfetti, Lundell, Jarvis, like, what the fuck were we thinking? I don't know. I weirdly, though, I kind of, is it weird that I almost think it's better if he not necessarily like makes and stays on the team right out of training camp, but I think he needs to play with the team out of training camp, like play the start of the season, because I think there's less pressure and less eyes on him specifically to start the year, right? It's all about the new season, figuring out what the new approach is, what are the line combos, whatever. Yeah, there'll be some people that harp on him, but if you wait and you bring him up 2, 3, 4 months in, now it's all eyes on the guy that's been cooking down in the AHL, and we need to see him pop in the first game or two, or we're all going to yell bust, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think if he like, no matter if it's game 1 of the NHL season or game 20, if he comes up and plays like a 10-minute if he has a 10-minute game and he has like a shot on goal and 0 points and he's like -1, people will be like, I knew it. He's terrible. So there you go. It doesn't matter. Like, if he doesn't come up and immediately just go like point per game status, he's not good. Like, people like, oh god damn him. I can't. He stinks. It doesn't matter. It's just like people are gonna freak out no matter what. Like, it is what it is.
No, for sure. All right. Well, we got to keep it rolling then. Let's get into the Mem Cup, and we got to start from the Minnesota angle. Kyle Masters carried off on a stretcher. Pretty bad looking incident there. I mean, I'll start. Thankfully, he's been released from the hospital. Sounds like there's a 3-month turnaround time for him. Watching that hit, though, from Brennan Othmann, is this something that you think was clean, dirty, somewhere in between?
I mean, I probably am in the camp where it's like not exactly clean, but not like the most dirty hit in the world. Like, again, he clearly did not have any like intention on playing that puck. It's in a really bad spot in the ice. They're like, Peterborough's getting the shit kicked out of them. Othman's been chirping the entire game. So like, you know what's really going on there, but the hit itself, I mean, you know, whatever. Like, the Kamloops coach even said after, I mean, the Kamloops coach said after, he was like, bottom line is NHL Department of Player Safety looked at it too, and they were like, "Yep, no, for us that's nothing." So
what else did the coach say?
Yeah, well, yeah, he pretty much just, like,
Fucking
fuck
loses
him.
his mind after Oathman goes over and like wishes him well as he's getting stretchered off.
So there's more to that though.
Okay,
There's more to that too, because he went by the bench. He, like, after he hit Masters, apparently he went by the bench and I'll do that to every fucking one of you. Like, basically was like, who else wants it?
Oh.
So like, coach is like, are you motherfucker? Yeah. And Brendan Hoffman's
and then goes over to him.
Yeah, like, so I mean, I don't know. It's like they said after the game too, when you think a stretcher, the fact that it's a lower body injury is, like, I guess the best possible news. Again, it's a pretty significant one. It was like, I mean, that was bad. Like,
well, the first thing I read about it was just spine first into the boards, and immediately I just like
crazed. Yeah. It wasn't. Yeah, you have to like see the video to really like put any kind of contact, obviously, but like, it was just the way his body just like crunched. It was bad. But again, it was like a really shitty spot in the ice. And again, like, he knew what he was doing. Obviously didn't want to like put him on a fucking stretcher. But like, it was one of those, hey, we're down by a fucking million goals. Fuck this guy. I am gonna fucking light someone up, which it is what it is. But yeah, no, it's just shitty for Masters. Like, again, what a fucking season the kid had. Hopefully, it's not going to be something that affects him super long term, but definitely a tough delayed start probably to his pro career at this point. If he was going to come in. Oh, yeah, there you go.
We got you.
So again, basically from what I read, the coach was losing his fucking mind because right after he hit Masters, he went by the fucking Kamloops bench and was basically like, who else fucking wants it? Like, everyone can get it. Because he is a psychopath. Again, I do love Brendan Hoffman, but like,
well, he was a big cog in our whole guy, buddy, friend segment.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Oh man. And so, all right, any other Wild prospects we want to talk about from the Mem Cup?
Yeah, I mean, just Bankier's the one left there. I think he's had like a couple of assists. I mean, realistically, Seattle is just kicking the shit out of everybody. That lineup is just a joke. I forgot how many guys they did end up adding to. And I forgot that Brad Lambert came over like in the middle of the year, and he's been unbelievable for them. Then they bring in Dylan Genter from the fucking NHL. Like, they've got just this lineup is insane. Like, they're legit, but they are killing everybody. Like, they pounded Peterborough. They pounded. I think they killed. Was it Kamloops maybe?
Dude, it probably
one of their first game was like 10-0.
Just imagine, Isha, if a U.S. team wins the Mem Cup, I'm just gonna go off.
In Western Canada. In Western Canada, yeah. Oh my god, I forgot they had Nolan out. Yeah, I mean, they've got like 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 NHL draft picks. Like, or 10 drafted players in the NHL. They've got probably 3 or 4 more that'll go early, or like will project to be like very good. Like, I mean, they're loaded. It's
let's talk about it, man. 2023 draft eligibles playing. Let's start with Seattle. Who do we got there that we're watching?
Yeah, they've got Grayson Sachin, who's an awesome player. Really, really solid.
All-name team candidate.
He is on there. He's, since his height doesn't start with a 6, he's technically an undersized center, but tons of skill, super creative. And I mean, he was right around a point per game on a stacked team playing like 13 minutes a night this year. So I think, I'll be interested to see where he goes. I think most like public scouting outlets have him like late first round. Some even have him like mid to like close to 12. It sounds like fucking he's 5'11" and he's a center, so he's not going to go in the first round. I think Pronman had him at like fucking 60, so we'll see what actually happens there. But he's a solid player. He's really fun to watch. And they've got the other kid. It's I don't know if I actually put him on the all-name team. the Nico Mijatovic kid.
We definitely
Another
did not.
solid. He'll probably go early because he's a big boy. He's 6'3", like 200 pounds. Plays center, plays wing. He's like a solid player. Chips in offensively. Plays defensive. Plays well defensively too. And they've got the goalies though, dude. They've got Thomas Milich from the Katie World Juniors there, who really just like did his thing and really like solidified himself that yes, even though he got missed out on being drafted the last 2 years, I think it was. Yeah, this is like his third year that he's eligible. He's been a stud in the Mem Cup, and they've also got Ratzlaff, who is the Holinka Team Canada goalie who like gave up like 2 goals the whole fucking tournament. So they've just got a dynamic duo there, both drafted or draft guys. Yeah, again, Perron he's 5'8", Crystal's 5'9", so
I mean, if you're 5'11" or shorter, you're just 5'7". That's the rules.
Yeah.
And if you're 6 feet or taller, you're like 6'8". So
the thing with Andrew Crystal though is like I totally get like the being concerned about him because he's like the epitome of boomer bust. Like he doesn't have a B game. He is insane and like one of the most just naturally talented players in this draft. But fact is he has no interest in playing defensively. Like is a very bad skater, but he's one of the most creative, most skilled. He's got an insane shot, can shoot off both feet. Like it's a joke. And he's a super creative playmaker. So the ceiling is super high, which is why you'll see him in a lot of top 10s. But again, it's boom or bust. Like he has to be that guy in the NHL, or like he's never going to be. He wouldn't even be able to do the Marco Rossi 9 minutes and then the fourth line. He wouldn't be able to do that. So that's why I'd say like I do get the skepticism or like being scared to draft him too high.
Is he worth the risk?
Yeah, he's yeah. I like him. It depends where, I guess. I mean, I can't leave him out of the first round.
I was gonna say, if he falls out of the first round, is that where you draw the line and be like, "Fuck you guys"?
Like even later than like, yeah, actually, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I would say he's got to go first round. He's so fucking good, but maybe he won't.
All right. Anyone outside of Seattle then that's worth talking about?
Oh God. I mean, what's his face on I always forget.
He's had such a good year.
There's like 3 kids on Kamloops who have like such similar names and similar play styles, and it drives me insane. I mix them up constantly. Levis. Fuck me. Jesus Christ. Connor Levis. He's a solid player. I'll be curious to see where he goes. Like he's got a good 2-way game. He's 6'2", center, wing. He's a solid player. But other than that, like in terms of like high end draft guys, like I'm trying to think for Quebec. I don't know if any of them really popped off, to be honest. Like the draft guys that have popped off, like all been with Seattle. Like they're fucking loaded. But yeah, I mean, it's just looking like Seattle's just gonna kick the shit out of everybody. Like they're fucking everyone up.
What if we just kick the shit out of everybody?
No, it's dead. It's saying it's dead. It doesn't work anymore.
As long as you still have the shirt.
I do. Tucked away.
Last prospect one before we move on to NHL stuff here. I know there's caveats that come with this, obviously, who falls, what happens, but from Jason, what are the Wild looking at with their 2 second-round picks? So, I mean, who are guys that you're seeing that are falling to the late second, early third that you're like, yes, zero hesitation, give me this guy?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably biased for me just because I spend the majority of my like draft prospect watching just out of Sweden, but there are a ton of Swedish like I think like a David Edstrom. He probably is now going to go with how well he played at the U18s. He'll probably be gone before then. Same thing with like Anton Wahlberg. Like Anton Wahlberg to me would be amazing there, just because again, this is a kid. The hockey sense is not there yet, but like all the tools in the world to just be an absolute beast. And again, he's a big boy that plays center. Same thing with David Edstrom.
So is he 5'7" or 6'7"?
Yeah, true. You can only have. There's only.
Which one is he?
They're both. Well, David Edstrom 6'3", Wahlberg 6.
Okay, so they're both 6'7". Awesome.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if you're at 6, it's like, all right, he's 6'5".
Imagine putting out like a scouting report for a bunch of players, and all of them are either 5'7" or 6'7".
Yeah, nothing in between. Same thing. Those are just, again, you look at the centers. Same thing with like Felix Nelson. He's another guy. He's just like a really creative center that plays well on both sides of the puck. It sucked that he got hurt before the U18s because he would have played a prominent role on that team.
Sure.
But those are some of the guys that I look at, honestly. And again, I know it's just like, it's funny just because I spend literally all of my time watching the Swedish kids, but like those are just a couple of guys that would legitimately be like perfect in that system. It's kind of like filling that spot where there's upside in both of them, clearly. And they're a little bit just like of a different mold from the rest of that prospect pool. So, yeah.
I like it. Do you agree? Would Cameron Allen be fun?
I mean, he's fun, but he had a brutal year. I mean, like, this is a kid that was projected to be the first defenseman off the board.
So he'll be our Sirvak Petrovsky. Perfect.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. Like, he looked, or he could be like the Kalen Addison.
Oh, the guy that we take in the second round and then just fucking abuse. Nice. I wish nothing of the sort on Cameron Allen.
No, Cameron Allen's super fun though. He's like, again, he's he's like 5'11", but he just had such a rough year. He did get hurt too, but like he had a great Hlinka. So again, that was when he was projected to be like the first defenseman off the board. And he literally, I mean, just like nothing happened for him this draft. Like, and his stock has tanked to the point where like you'll see him in like the 80s sometimes in some of these rankings. Like he just had, like, again, I think the preseason, his average like projected whatever slot was like 12 or 13. And now you're talking about a kid who's literally like mid-second at the earliest, probably, just with how the year's gone for him. I mean, that team sucked, but like he did not help himself.
No, that's fair.
But hey, who knows? We dive in the rough, who knows?
All right. Well, transitioning to the NHL then, before we get into the musical chairs of GMs and coaches, Sean's coming in hot. Odds that Philip Gustafson's agent pisses off Guerin and he gets traded at the draft. There's no precedent we can really go off of with this, but any thoughts?
Philip Gustafson got traded today. His KHL rights were traded today, which is so insane. Funny. It's like the fact that that's a thing is so funny. Like they're just holding out hope that maybe he's like, yeah, fuck the NHL, I'm going to Russia. How does his KHL rights get traded? So yeah, it's already done. It's done. They traded him. He's gone. He's back to the Soviet.
It's the equivalent of if we traded Firstov's rights right now.
Yeah, well, that boy's never playing in Minnesota. That sucks. I love that kid.
Guerin was asked point blank on the radio, or maybe it was on Russo's podcast, but he said,
was he?
Yeah, we'd be open to having that conversation, which I'm sure that's just him being nice.
Again, I've said this before. Bill Guerin's very good at, like, you ask him a question and he answers. You're like, oh, nice. He answered my question. You walk away like, motherfucker, I'm actually more confused than I was before.
God
So
damn.
we'll see if, I don't think he'll ever be playing in Minnesota. Played one AHL game and said, you know what? Fuck this. This sucks. I'm going back to Russia. Someone yelled at me.
I mean, you know what, though? That's better than taking the approach.
That's why Army got gassed.
No, I'm just going to have 5 milkshakes a day and see if I can figure out the physical piece.
Every couple, weeks, I remember that Alexander Hovanov exists. I'm like, fuck. Like, he's so nasty. Dude, some of the games he was scratched in, he would, be, they would, pan, and he'd be in the stands. And he's going nuts during the game, though. He was loving it. I was like, this guy just wants to watch the fucking games. He's so good though. I can't believe that sucked. I still can't believe, by the way, that he had the meeting with the Iowa staff. They're like, dude, like, not to be a dick, but you just gotta lose weight and like get in shape and like stop eating like shit. And they saw him like 3 hours later eating having a fucking milkshake.
Oh no, guys, I got the low fat version.
I would have fucking made him the captain. I was like, that's fucking amazing. I love that. I would have made him the captain, and that's when you go with the Alexei Kovalev, give him the 6-minute shift.
Yeah, the 6-minute shift. That's the way to do it.
Yeah, exactly, Sean. Literally, like, it's unbelievable. He was like, I don't know, I fucking love burgers.
How am I supposed to have a burger without a milkshake? Like, what are you talking about?
He's unbelievable.
Can you please put out your cigarette? I always smoke when I drink.
I always smoke when I drink. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, by the way, I got to call you out. You had the whole scene correct because I dubbed it in for that video I made up for you last week for the table read, but it was not the right movie. When you talked about the guy who's stealing TVs and they literally watch him.
Oh, what movie is it driving me nuts? I literally, because I've tried
one of my personal favorite comedies that like no one talks about, Role Models.
Oh my God, you're right. That's why you can never find
he's in like the office with Paul Rudd's girl. And it's such a good scene though.
That is not me.
That could be any guy. Look at me, Steve Garvin, stealing TVs. That is not me.
That is not me. It's one of the funniest scenes. I'm such a fucking idiot too, because I like randomly quote that. And that in no way is that specific to one movie. Just saying that is not me. Like, obviously everyone's like,
the second you said it, I knew exactly what you were talking about.
It's driving me nuts. I'm so glad.
You said the other guys, and that was
I don't know why I
thought was stuck.
I don't know why I thought it was that one.
Yeah, no, that one you got to go with Desk Pop.
Steve. Stealing TVs.
That's such a good movie, though. Such an underrated movie. Of course, he has.
You know what I had for breakfast? Cocaine. You know what I had for lunch? Cocaine. What'd you have for dinner? Was it cocaine?
They were a good duo. I like those two together. Paul Rudd and Sean William Scott. That's a fun one. Okay.
Paul Rudd's really, last thing on that, Paul Rudd's really good at playing that guy in movies.
Oh, yeah. No, he's really very typecast, but he is so good at what he does.
But then you'll see him in like Forgetting Sarah Marshall, or he's the surfer guy.
That is very out of character for him, and I enjoyed the hell out of it.
You sound like you're from London.
I say that whenever I hear a British accent. And then the other one that I
got rid of all my clocks.
Yeah, I just got my cell phone. Oh, the PPOP will make my wife pee herself every time. But then also just the weather outside is weather always gets me. I don't know why.
That is a weather. Dude, God damn it. Oh, it's the good stuff.
God damn it. Here's another great line.
They're everywhere.
Oh, fuck. All right. This is going to turn into a quote episode. So we're just going to truck right along here.
I'm changing this podcast. This isn't about hockey anymore. This is just about movies, specifically Paul Rudd movies.
Oh, look at that. We just picked up 4 watchers because you said that. Perfect. All right. GM and coach carousel. New era in Calgary. The Flames not only bring in from the outside Dave Nonis to serve as senior VP of hockey ops and assistant GM, they promoted internally their boy Craig Conroy to GM. I mean, thoughts on this in general, or do you just not care because it's Calgary?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really surprised whatsoever. Like, that kind of felt like a very likely scenario because Craig Conroy's been pushing for the GM job for a while. I don't know. Like, we'll see if it changed anything, really. Like, shocking. He had a really good press conference that people liked because he was saying good things about Calgary. Like,
nice.
So, he's the one. We'll see what happens now.
One thing that could happen sounds like one more year, and they're probably going to get Joe McGinley back into the org. And it's been lightly mentioned, but I think bringing Alex Tanguay in and giving him a shot as a coach, you got to admit, you loved what he was doing when he was here part of our org. Like,
oh, yeah. Why not? And like somewhat new. I mean, yes, new, but like, you know.
He gives me the Marty St. Louis flair, though, like not just because of their size and like the way they played the game, but like that's how he views the game from a coaching lens too.
No, then that's the thing, right? Like the more creativity in like the coaches and like willingness to just like let players be themselves. I mean, you think like Jonathan Huberdeau wouldn't fucking love that, dude? Like,
well, that's the funny thing too, is because
they've got 8 years to do it, so.
That they do.
8 years, 80 million.
The guy that everyone thought Calgary was going to be hard after actually just replaced John Hines with the Nashville Predators as the head coach, Andrew Brunette. Because again, obviously the direct connection with Huberdeau's success, him being the head coach there, even though I have things that I'll say in opposition, but we'll leave that alone. But Hines is out, and already rumored to be right there with Peter Laviolette as the front runners for the New York Rangers gig, as Gerard Gallant yet again gets canned. It's just like,
I mean,
taxes and Gallant being fired. Like that's,
I mean, when are we just gonna like accept Gerard Gallant is what he is though? Like that he was like a bad coach for the Rangers this year. Objectively, especially in the playoffs. Just,
sure.
No, I know. It's like because everyone talks about he's a players coach and shit. Like, yeah, I think for a little bit, and maybe like with the vets.
Oh yeah, he does absolute shit for the young kids, which is very, very noticeable. Do you think that he got done dirty by Barry Trotz though? Like the way that was dragged out?
I don't know.
I think no. That's what everyone's trying to like say is like, how could he do this? It's like, you understand, like he's one of the best coaches that we've seen in recent eras of the NHL. I think he was having conversations, and John Hines knew exactly what was going on this whole time. Like he's not a dickhead, and who cares? Like we talked about it before we jumped on. John Hines, maybe not the greatest coach anyways. Not sure why he got brought over there, but do you think Andrew Brunette's the answer for the Nashville Predators?
It'll be interesting because, like, when we've seen him as a head coach in the NHL, it's the Florida model where that year it was just like chaos and like take every chance you can as a defenseman, jump up in the rush, all offense, like absolutely sacrifice defensive like sequences for like it's fun. It's a high tempo, like just complete chaos. Obviously didn't really end up working out long run, but it's an interesting combination though in Nashville because forever their identity has been like smash mouth hockey, where it's just like they're kicking the shit out of everybody. And like when they were at their best, which was not this year, obviously, but like the backbone of that team was that back end, right? Like,
sure.
And obviously that changed as the years have gone on. So it's like kind of an interesting thing. And then you think about
a good back end though, man.
Yeah, they've got guys there, but like it's still different than it was. Like,
yeah.
But it's weird because like you have the team identity like that, then you've got Brunette as the coach, who's the opposite, where it's just like offense. We are actually just going to ice 5 forwards now, and we're going to pull the goalie tied, or even if we're winning 1-0, let's just pull the goalie and let's have another skater out there, whatever. And then you got like Barry Trotz, the GM, so it's like okay, defense. So it's like just a really fascinating like combination. So I'd be curious to see if it works out. I mean, it was interesting this year specifically for them because they obviously started terrible. Well, I mean, they didn't make the best of them, but like selling really effectively at the deadline and then it still made a run and almost made the fucking playoffs. So it was like a crazy year. But I'd be interested to see if it works out just because, again, I think it's a different identity, obviously, than what they've been. So they've got guys there that obviously can still play that way.
Yeah. Well, I think the biggest thing too with a guy like Brunette, like my biggest concern, which I've said so many times, is his inability to make adjustments. But when the GM of your team is a pretty legendary coach in his own right, you got someone built in there to help you make those adjustments. So maybe it's not as big of a deal. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be a big. I mean, I think Brunette's a good coach though. Like,
based on 1 year.
No, I mean, even just looking at when he was an assistant, like this year with the Devils, I thought he was a great addition. Like with the Lindy.
Yeah, what are the Devils going to do now? Do they just keep Lindy forever?
Why not? I mean, it worked.
Well, you got to get the fans to chant that they want him fired, and then he'll figure it out and do really good.
No, he has to have a beer with all the fans at every single one of them.
Oh my God, that'd be delightful. Oh, and then yes, of course, we've got this issue.
Whoops. That was a tough. This is tough footage. That was tough to watch.
That was
on both sides there.
That was basically the Steve Garvin. Andrew Burnett driving shit bombed. I didn't do that. No.
Nah, I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, dude, so what?
I coach the Panthers.
A big thing that I didn't even put on the outline, and I totally spaced on until a minute ago. So there's a guy that kind of established himself as a perennial all-star for the Nashville Predators. Ends up leaving them and signing in free agency, a decent, like, long-term ticket. Gets bought out about 3/4 of the way through that contract. Goes and signs with another team that actually makes it to their respective conference final. And only 2 years into that new contract, already being rumored to be one of the top buyout candidates. Like, could you write a better script?
Who could have seen this coming?
It's funny though, because like I thought it was all fan driven, that fans are just like, get this bum the fuck out of here. Dude, Elliot Friedman is saying that he's a top buyout candidate. Like, there's something there.
They gave him a 5-year deal.
Wasn't it 4? I think it's 4.
Maybe, I don't know. Either way. It's fucking nuts.
For anyone that hasn't kept up thus far, we're talking about Wild fan favorite Ryan Suter.
Everyone's fan favorite everywhere he goes.
Oh my God.
It's unbelievable, dude. Like, I can't believe. I knew he would get signed immediately, but 3, 4, 5, doesn't matter. We're under and everything. Oh, yeah, fucking unbelievable. It's crazy. I'll take the over. I'll hammer the over on that because apparently I'm sure he's gonna sign. He's gonna sign 4 more contracts somehow. He's gonna end up being the highest paid player in NHL history just from buyout money. Like, the amount of money he's gonna make, he'll make Yager money, but just on fucking buyout residuals, dude.
It's incredible. I don't even know what to do with that. All right, moving on. Next move. Well, we can kind of just go a full Toronto Maple Leaf sadness cocktail here with the next 3. They had plans today to announce and have a press conference to formally welcome Brad Treliving as the GM of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Right before this, actually the day prior, we hear that Spencer Carberry is off to the Washington Capitals. So there you've lost an obvious heir apparent to be the head coach, when a lot of sentiment around Toronto is that they're not going to be keeping Keefe. It's not confirmed yet, but it's unlikely. And then we have maybe like half hour to an hour before that press conference, the Pittsburgh Penguins announce that they've got Kyle Dubas as the president of hockey operations. Just a massive cuck of the Toronto Maple Leafs. You hate to see it. Like, no team deserves to have that done to them, but especially an upstanding, respectable group of fans like the Toronto Maple Leafs fans.
Yeah, I mean, let's just let you have this victory lap. Why don't we just give you the floor, give you the Penguins minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. If we need another hour, we'll do another hour. Go ahead and talk. How are you feeling? How are you feeling?
Fucking thrilled. I am ecstatic. This is all that I've wanted for the past year. Well, let me be clear. I'm more excited that Ron Hextall is gone than I am that Kyle Dubas is here, but beyond thrilled. I'm a big fan of what Dubas does. People try and point at mistakes he made in Toronto. Cool. Some of them are out of his control. Some of them were also things that maybe he learned from, whatever. That's a big selling point that everyone's making on Treliving is, oh, well, he learned from the whole experience with Goudreau and Kachuk. So he'll make sure the same thing doesn't happen here with Matthews, Nylander, and Marner. But no, I'm absolutely thrilled. I know a lot of people were kind of surprised to see that he got the president of hockey operations stamp. That was very much expected from anyone that's, I guess, following or a fan of the Pittsburgh Penguins. It's going to be really interesting to see who they pick for a GM or if they even do, because he's basically going to have his hand at the wheel. It's just like the Vancouver Canucks, where so many Canucks fans tried to deny that Jim Rutherford was the GM when, in fact, yes, I don't care what his title is. He's running that shit. It'll be the same with Dubas, but I'm absolutely thrilled. It could not have gone better. Now we're going to have to sit back and wait to see what the big boy moves are that he might pull. But also, I think we got an issue. I think Matthew botched this one. I think he meant to say Nylander to Pittsburgh. Or maybe he's talking about Alex Nylander going out to Toronto. That'd be funny.
That's, I think, what he was. That's what I'm.
I was thinking the other way. I was thinking the good Nylander coming to Pittsburgh, but we'll see what happens. It's funny, though. Like, I don't know. There's a lot of great people that cover the Pittsburgh Penguins. I'm sorry, like the narrative that's going around where everyone's talking about, well, the last time the Penguins got a stud from Toronto, they won back-to-back Stanley Cups. Like comparing Dubas to Phil Kessel is even remotely comparable in any sense of the word. I don't know. I think you guys are like,
I think they have a great point.
As hard as you can to find a way to talk about Phil Kessel. Meanwhile, we got our boy Jacob here, who at least acknowledges that he's a legend, even in Vegas, even not playing. Did you see that fucking video of him getting his head rubbed in the locker room?
He's the best player in the league.
He is my hero. Dude, I need him to just go out onto the ice in shorts, sandals, and a Hawaiian shirt and grab the cup and just fucking pump it.
If they win the cup, I just need a microphone to be near him at all times. I need to pick up everything that he's saying because it's gonna be fun. You think he gives a shit? He's just like, I would love to watch the boys. But fuck it, who cares? He'd probably go grab the cup second. He'd probably go get the cup from Mark Stone.
If Mark Stone gave him the cup next, I would be ready to die. I have witnessed all I need to on this earth. That would be absolutely incredible.
He'd do some Phil, he would probably take hi, you're welcome, boys. I love that guy, dude. He's the best.
Yeah,
best player in the league. Best player in the league.
He's my hero. But so that's
Randy.
as much as I need to get into on Dubas being with the Penguins. Obviously, a lot to be seen this summer on how he shuffles the deck because there's plenty of moves that need to be made, but he's got wiggle room for once. He's got 20 mil in cap space to work with. Again, in the theory, money, but
it'll be like you said, it'll be interesting to see what they do with the GM thing.
Sounds like one of the rumors is that Ray Shero returns, which I wouldn't hate. I loved him.
He's a good dude. He's funny.
When he was with Pittsburgh and making his fucking deals, literally every year at the trade deadline, I would just post the gif of Jigsaw from Saw, where he's like, let's play a game. And that's literally the phone call every time. He just calls the other GM. He's like, want to play a game?
I'm telling you, I fucking love that dude. Because again, one of the first BC games I sat in the press box for first BC game. It was him, Hendricks, and like 2 other dudes, and he wasn't watching. He literally like he had his back to the ice, and he was literally just chopping it up, like telling old stories, like laughing. Meanwhile, like Hendricks was taking every notes on like McBain, Warren, and Nestorenko. 2 of actually probably all 3 of them will never. I can't imagine Warren signs with Minnesota ever. So
Chero knew.
So he was like, Matt, they're not fucking coming back. Anyways, and he was like just like telling stories and laughing. He literally had the roster thing, like the lineup sheet they give you before the games. He just had it like rolled up, and he was just using it to like smack his leg. Like he was just like laughing, like telling stories and shit. And I was like, this is the best guy in the league. I love this dude.
Oh, that is fantastic. I love it. So, I mean, in general, your perspective, Kyle Dubas, overrated, underrated, properly rated?
It's weird because like I want to take the like defense sitting position, but it's literally impossible because like everyone's either like fuck this guy and his math and his calculators, or they're all like, no, he's actually really smart. Every move. Look at the deadline. Look at all the players they brought in. Like, how did they do that with this cap? Like, whatever. I think he's a smart dude. So I think he'll be fine. I think having a GM would be smart, just so it's like,
yeah,
you know, he's working in tandem with I'm sure that's what he did in fucking Toronto too. But like,
I thought they were going to bring Darsh, and it sounds like that's kind of already been confirmed off the table now.
Yeah. I mean, like, I think he's a good GM. I think he's smart. I actually think taking him out of Toronto is going to be a very good thing, though.
Oh, for sure.
Like, just, it's fun. I'm trying to think of how to phrase it. Like, I think for a guy like him in that position, like, he was Sault Ste. Marie, and then he's just, like, been in Toronto forever. Like, I think that makes it significantly more difficult, obviously. Yeah. But like, I think just getting him out of there and having him run a team that like isn't the team that he's grown up with forever. That's what I'm most curious to see if it's just like totally different. Because I mean, you see him like the fucking like when the cameras are on during the games, he's he's yelling at fans of like, Jesus Christ, dude.
I like that. I want a little bit of fire in my front office. I don't know.
I know, but like, oh God, the one from I think it was this year when he's just like, Jesus fucking Christ. I'm like, dude, there's a camera on you 24/7, bro. Like, that was
and now no one's even gonna pay attention, and it's beautiful.
Dude, like when he started, he was like very calm. And then as the years have gone on, he just wants to win the cup so bad with his like hometown team. Now he's just like foaming at the mouth every fucking game. Like anytime there's a borderline call against the Leafs, like, no, I'll kill your fucking family. I'll murder your family.
You said SMIC, Jackie.
I hardly raised my voice.
Oh man, it's great. I mean, you got to factor in too. He's got a better core that he's working with now. That helps.
He's got an older core. He's got Granlund.
That's not part of the core. How dare you? That was rude.
Yeah, it is, bro.
Okay. Fighting words. Got it.
Yeah, we'll see.
It'd be horrible if Bergeron retires this summer.
It probably will.
Fuck, dude. It's gonna be interesting. I'm kind of waiting too to see, because everyone likes to just like make random connections and decide like what's gonna happen just because of who you know or whatever. If no one else does it, I'm probably gonna go in and just try and stir up rumors saying that he's gonna try and bring Matt Murray back and watch Pittsburgh Twitter just implode.
Yeah. Yeah, just tweet
just chuck the grenade and walk away.
Just tweet that picture of you two again from the NCAAs and
I'm gonna post it every like 4 fucking days, dude.
That's what he told you.
Got my track record 2 now. I told people that they need to come to Pittsburgh when they're no longer welcome where they're at. Kyle Dubas and Jason Zucker, and both of them fucking happened.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna start going around. I need to meet Austin Matthews in person. Be like, yeah, dude, when they fuck you over in Toronto, you should go to Pittsburgh.
Yo, bro, what are you thinking? I know shit. I know a puck.
Dude, Coyotes are relocating. There's no reason for you to be considering that. You like Dubas. Why not?
I'm telling you, though, like, Sean over here is just mentioning the contract. This Pittsburgh their cap-friendly page.
It's interesting.
It's fascinating, dude.
Dude, you know what's more fascinating, though? The longest tenured forward on the Toronto Maple Leafs. Do you know who it is? It's for 3 years. And they are the only one that has 3 years of term.
Wait, what?
Toronto Maple Leafs, forwards only.
Yeah.
They only have one player that has 3 years.
Left. Oh, okay. I thought you were saying
the rest are 2, 1, or
no, because you said longest tenure. So I was like,
tenure. Okay. Moving forward, looking forward, who has the
it has to be Tavares.
No, Tavares has 2. Callie Yarncroke, 3 years.
That's right. Yeah.
They've got Marner and Tavares for 2. They've got Nylander and Matthews for 1, and they've got a couple other guys signed. The rest of their forward group has to be completely redone.
Yeah, well, Yarncroke signed that 8-year, $2.5 million deal in Nashville. The funniest contract ever. Him and Sissons did the same thing. It's they signed 7 and 8 years at less than $3 million. What the fuck? Someone else just did that too, I'm pretty sure. But I can't remember who it is off the top of my head now. So that was worth mentioning.
But yes, Penguins cap-friendly page is very interesting.
Do you think Dubas took the job, sat down, looked at the cap sheet, was just like, ooh, fuck. Man, this is... Berkey, what the fuck, man? And you signed off on this shit? Jesus Christ. I thought you were supposed to help.
Dude, they did so much fucking damage in such a short period of time.
It is legitimately incredible how many fucking crazy long-term shitty fucking moves.
Ron Hextall should get his name on the Stanley Cup if the Florida Panthers win.
Again, that John Marino deal is literally at no point will that ever even look close.
Marino and McCann will always hurt. Those ones just to my core. And then the extension of Jeff Carter, who the rationale behind it was when Malkin walks, because we saw in the article Malkin was gone. Jeff Carter was the heir apparent to be the second fucking line center when he can't even fucking hold the bag as fourth line center. It's brutal, dude. It's so bad. He's going to figure it out, though. He's going to wheel and deal this summer. Biggest thing for me is figuring out goaltending. And I say take a big swing. Package, picks, futures, whatever. Get Hellebuck from Winnipeg.
Yeah. I mean, I'm curious, be very curious to see what they do. How the fuck does shut they
off? Hang on. How much better would the cap friendly page be if this had happened, Z?
Mm-hmm.
That was their big move, which I love JT Miller, so I would have found a way to be okay with it, but Jesus Christ.
Oh yeah. What was there was the conversation debate around that, and then what they ended up doing ended up being really funny. And I was literally looking at it the other day, but I can't
what they
remember.
Ended up doing was getting Granlund, and it's not funny.
That was that. Yeah.
That's not funny. Fuck. I didn't think he was good in Minnesota. I definitely don't think he's good now.
That's really mean, man.
Yep. You've got me in a mean mood the more you keep on mentioning him.
Yeah, I shouldn't have mentioned anything.
All right, so is Treliving to Toronto, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I think Treliving is a good GM. I think
I do too.
I think the Gaudreau Tkachuk situation felt essentially completely out of his control. Where
Well,
I think they had tried.
Gaudreau fleeced him a bit too. Like he was very much under the impression that Gaudreau was staying. Tkachuk, he made the best out of his shitty situation. Like everyone says, like, oh, you're gonna bring in the guy that traded Matthew Tkachuk. Well, the guy fucking said he was gonna walk for nothing. Like, yeah, you trade him. And I think he did a pretty good job getting a return, given that he was negotiating with one fucking team.
On this very show, maybe not this one, maybe it was just the Sota Pod, but we said who wins that trade, and everyone was in agreement. Long term, the Panthers; short term, the Flames. And ended up right. So, like in the moment, it felt like, oh wow, they actually did pretty well, considering. Turns out Tkachuk was not just a passenger on that line.
Well, but anyone who thought that is a moron. Crazy. But also, we can't also look at it in a vacuum and say like, oh, Tkachuk went there and all of a sudden was incredible. There was also the pivot of getting Maurice as your coach. That makes a huge difference too with what happened for the Florida Panthers this year.
And also, man, like I love Daryl Sutter. He's one of my favorite coaches of all time because I think he's so funny. If you just look up Daryl Sutter on YouTube, there's a 14-minute long video called like Best Sutterisms. I encourage everyone to go watch that video. It is so fucking funny. It's like a mashup from when he was in LA.
Dude, either text or DM me the link and I'll just post it from the Sota Pod account for everybody.
Dude, it's the funny. I probably watched it 700 times. It's so fucking funny. Just like it's him and his media availabilities, and it's unbelievable. The shit he used to say in LA was just such good stuff. I'm literally now they're all hitting me, like all the quotes from it. But anyways, even before the year even started, Tkachuk had interviews, and he was subtly chirping Daryl Sutter, and he was a stud there. He did great, and even he was like, well, he never fucking put me on the ice in overtime. I wasn't allowed to go play in overtime when I was in Calgary.
I mean, in fairness, he doesn't really do shit in overtime anyway. So
yeah, no, he's never had any big overtime goals. Not recently, anyway.
Definitely none in the last month.
None. He's not a big game guy.
Oh,
can't trust him. So
maybe though it is that he is still a passenger and he's just getting carried by Bennett and Cousins.
Yeah. I can't even make jokes about Nick Cousins. I just hate him so much. He's on the Petrangelo level.
Okay, hang on though. Who comes in first?
Oh, the minivan man.
Okay.
Alexander Triplet Petrangelo. I hate that guy.
He's probably going to be the second guy to get the cup too.
Mm-hmm.
If they win it. And that's really sad.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What a goofy looking set though, that trio, when they went up there and got their picture with the trophy. Disgusting. All of them just had the strangest, most uncomfortable smiles on their face.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, to wrap that up, I actually think the Tree Living thing's going to be good. I think that's a good move, actually. Because, again, I think the majority of the moves that he made, because it's crazy. You look in Calgary, he made it through the ups and downs of that team longer than a normal GM would. I feel like with how long that he was there, there were years where they were amazing, and then they would be bad in the first round of the playoffs, and then they were terrible the regular season, and then he survived the ups and downs, which is you don't see that a lot. It's kind of like when Bruce Boudreau was in Minnesota, he survived 4 fucking GMs. Even though that's not even me chirping Boudreau. I'm just saying, that's what immediately just came back to my head. I was like, how did they change GMs 3 or 4 times? And he's just like, I'm still here, motherfuckers.
The way you kept on saying the word survived, all I can go to is It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I believe it's the first season. No, it might be a little bit later, but the episode where Charlie finds out that his mom tried to have him aborted. She's like, no, you survived. You survived the abortion.
One of the best Sneaky one of the best seasons of all time. This has been a show. This has been a podcast about movies and TV shows. Only one TV show, I guess, and Paul Rudd. I guess really that's it. Wow. Natural pivot back to that.
Andrew's with us. Yeah.
Yeah. No, like we said, we weren't going to go off the rails at all this episode.
No, Jesus zero Christ. Off the rails. We have stayed on the course. But as we kind of wrap up here, then with the previews and predictions for the Stanley Cup Finals, I solemnly support, and I'll actually one up this comment from Matthew. I think they should be able to not only wear it for every home game, I think they should wear it for every game of the series, because that means that those monstrosities of fucking mustard gold jerseys will not be on TV, and I will not have to look at them again.
I have nothing to add. I agree.
Vegas jerseys. Here's a fun debate though. Is the reverse retro for Florida better, or is the Vegas Golden Knights gold jerseys worse? Like, which one's heavier on the scale for you?
I think I actually just love Florida's. I think I'm on that side more than the Vegas thing, because I think that Panthers one's so fucking sick. Also, do you remember when they first mentioned the fact that the year that they were all going to do reverse retros, and everyone was like, "What the fuck is Vegas going to do? How do you do that?" And they were like, "We don't fucking know either. Let's just we'll go red." That was so funny. The new teams, it was just like, dude, what the fuck are they supposed to do? I don't know.
These teams have so much time to come up with these concepts, and the fact that some bomb so fucking bad, it makes no sense to me.
Detroit's reverse retros were literally just like the All-Star jerseys.
Didn't we say that was turning in your you literally forgot about the homework assignment and finished it right before class and handed it in?
If I did homework in high school, that's what it looked like. And I didn't do a lot of homework in high school.
Pretty bad.
Oh man. And then you had the Dallas Star monster can jerseys.
The monster can? What?
Yeah, it was crazy. It was the
black jersey with the highlighter. I think that's better than their fucking all white reverse retro that literally it was just a white jersey.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, again, those are the teams that were we don't know what to do. You think they caught the marketing people on those teams off guard, and they're like, "Fuck."
Well, dude, I mean, think about it though. It's like the Arizona Coyotes, how the owner of the Coyotes basically handed off the Twitter login to his son's friend. Dude, these teams for sure were like, "Yeah, we want to get the young vibe, we want to know what's cool and hip," and they just give it to some teenager, one of the guy's kids or something. They're like, "You design it."
Hey, do you have that TikTok app? All right, you run our Twitter now. You're a person. You run. Here's the phone. Here's the team phone. That's actually how we do this. We don't even. This is all we got. I don't know.
Oh shit. All right. Well, we've got the storylines in place already, right? We've got Eichel against Reinhart. We've got two teams that have both never won the Stanley Cup. We've got we got Marchessault and Smith against the incompetent organization that begged Vegas to take them. What are some of the other good ones there? No fake tough guys in Florida, right?
Nick Cousins.
Okay, Nick Cousins against. Oh yeah, there we go. The Z battle: Cousins versus Pietrangelo. That's fun.
Oh, I cannot. We don't have to watch one of the lift.
Dude, I'm gonna have to repost the video. But last summer, Isha and I got bored and came up with stupid ideas, and my idea was the Florida Panthers trading Sergei Bobrovsky with some level of retention to the Vegas Golden Knights for the Panda, and there was logic there. Yeah, he still exists.
This has to be the last thing because we're at an hour and 21 minutes. Dude, so This is the time of year where I just like have to find podcasts that are not about hockey because I'm just so burnt out now. Like, fuck. Really funny rabbit hole I've just fallen into is the fucking Dateline NBC like fucking podcast where it's like the audio version of that show. And there was one about this dude that owns or like whatever this like snake farm, and it ends up being either his wife either killed him or conspired or had someone do it, whatever. And dude, they start mentioning they were like at one point she was just selling these snakes to pretty much anybody. There was a professional hockey goalie who had purchased about. They were like, so the guy was like, was Robin Leonard ever a suspect in the murder case? And he goes, the cop literally goes, we looked at him. I was like, holy shit. I tried to find a podcast not about him.
I'm done.
I was like, I can't fucking get away. I was like, no fucking way. This would be Robert. Tell me they're talking about Robin Leonard because they were talking about how he's a dick because all these fucking snakes. And they were like, NHL goaltender Robin Leonard purchased like $80,000 worth of exotic snakes. I was like, holy fucking shit. And for like 10 minutes, he was legitimately a murder suspect. It's like we didn't actually end up talking to him, but we did just take a quick look just to see.
Dude, it's a trashier fucking Tiger King.
It could not believe. I was like, how do I end up here? Fuck? Yeah, it's unbelievable. Matthew, I could not believe it.
Matthew posted this before I said it, but I definitely didn't see it, so apologies.
Exactly, like, it was crazy. Dude.
What the fuck? Okay, well, you said we're wrapping it up here. Give me your prediction at least. What's happening here in the final series?
Well, whatever I say is going to be wrong. So I'll just root for my boy Bruce Cassidy. I'll just pick Vegas. This series, I needed to go 7 games. I really just needed to not be a quick series. My instinct, though, does say Florida just rides this fucking wave. Yeah. But
what would you say
just
though,
for my boy Bruce?
What if it went 4 games but wasn't a sweep? Would that be okay with you?
Well, I was there. I was watching. We didn't get swept.
We got predictions coming in. We got Florida in 5 from Matthew. Andrew says Panthers in 6.
So there you go.
And somehow Isha says Panthers in 4 or Vegas in 7. That's quite the. Okay.
All right, I'll take Vegas or Panthers will win, and somehow the first person to get the cup after Barkov is going to be Phil Kessel, who just puts on a reverse retro for Florida, and he comes out, I'm on this team now, boys.
That would be pretty incredible.
That's right up his alley, dude.
I would support that. I'd buy that bobblehead.
I'd buy that jersey.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you're saying, sorry, what'd you say? You said
Vegas. I'm going to go Vegas in 7, but that's just because I want Bruce Cassidy to win a cup.
Sure. I guess here's my real question for you. Rest versus rust debate. Is the rest going to be super helpful for Florida to like rejuvenate, or are they losing all their mojo? Is Bob not going to be in the same groove? Like, what's the outcome of that going to be? Because they've got more than a week off.
I mean, how much time does Vegas have off?
They ended up having 4 days off.
At that point, I don't know how much that even really does. They both have more than like the normal amount of days between series. So like, I don't really know.
Florida was riding that wave, man. Like, it's not like Vegas caught fire and ran with it. Like, Florida truly has an unbelievably hot goaltender that wasn't expected. You've got certain players that are buzzing. Like, do you lose that having more than a week off?
I don't know.
Okay, if you say, all right, then I'm saying Florida wins in 6.
All right, there you go. There's the pick. Florida in 6.
I'm not right because we don't get the great Florida jersey, and we do get the monstrosity that is the fucking Vegas Golden Knights jersey. Why would they change it? Why would they choose to go with that instead of their black one? I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't know. Side note on the rest thing with like Bobrovsky, dude, he had like 6 months off, and then he decided to play in the playoffs, and he was unbelievable. So he's been fine.
Yeah, he figured it.
Yeah, he figured out. He got there. Yeah, I don't know. Anything else? This is a long one.
I mean, it's pretty much the same as last week.
I don't even remember how long it went last week, so whatever.
In fairness, if we take out the movie, TV show, Dateline, NBC podcast references, we're probably under an hour. So
I had to mention. I was like, I know that there's been something I wanted to mention. I was like, holy fuck! It was that Robin Leonard somehow came up with the podcast. I was listening to not about hockey, about murder.
Really interesting too, because the way you reacted, I thought you were gonna be like, holy fuck, that's a human. Like just like astounded to learn that he's like, yes, he does exist.
Yeah, I know I know because you were like, yeah, no, he exists. I'm like, no, I know he exists.
He avoided prison time.
He was for about 10 minutes of murder.
Dude, he's not injured. The reason that he's been away from all this shit is because he went to prison.
He's in jail. He's been interrogated for about a year and a half, actually. That's why.
God damn it.
But yeah. All right. So I think that'll do it. Yeah.
That will do it. Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we got more people to join live this time. I don't remember how many got last week, but
bounced around.
Maybe it's the same. But thank you to everybody who tuned in live, who contributed to our movie podcast here. I'm guessing we're going to be live again next week. If not, I have no idea.
The entire.
We will not talk about hockey. We will not talk. We will actually just do a full reading of the script, full movie script read of.
We're just going to go through the first round of the NHL draft, but we're going to compare every player to a notable figure in a TV show or a movie. That'll be fun.
Yeah, that's creative. That's the stuff people really are tuning in for. That's why everyone wants to be here. Shout out to people who actually do just like tune in, because I think there have been a couple of people in here who have been here the whole time, which like, God bless you fucking poor souls. We have really just taken so many IQ points away from so many people who listen to this nonsense.
I mean, good news is you don't need to have an IQ to be on Twitter, as we've learned. So
yeah, that's true. That's true.
It's all right.
All right.
Hey, appreciate gun toting granny.
Well, good call. Jesus, what a name. It's unbelievable. Every time it comes up, I'm like, Jesus Christ. All right. I think we'll be live again next week. I believe that's the plan. I think we're planning on doing this until we have like literally a total of 0 people, or I forget. So until then, we'll see what crazy shit happens, how many cool movie quotes we can write down beforehand, and we will recite every single one of them and not talk about hockey. We will see you then.
He holds up the plate that he decorated. Marvin is gay for robots.
Fucking end it.